You ever wonder what really makes tech giants like Facebook or Uber so dominant? I mean, it's not just about having the best code or the slickest design. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible force that powers their success, the network effect. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll see why it's the absolute secret sauce behind our entire digital world. So, let's kick things off with a little thought experiment. Picture this. You are holding the world's very first telephone. It's a marvel of technology, right? A total game changer. But there's a huge catch. It is completely, utterly useless. Why? Well, who are you going to call? If no one else has one, its value is basically zero. Okay, but now what happens when a second telephone gets made? Suddenly, a connection is possible. Add 1,000 more, and you've got a busy little city network. 1,000,000? Now you've got a force that can literally reshape society. The piece of tech in your hand hasn't changed, but its value? It has gone through the roof. And that, right there, is the heart of the network effect. So this whole phenomenon, it has a name, the network effect. The definition is actually super simple. The more people who use a thing, the more valuable that thing becomes for everybody. Just think about it for a second. Every new friend who joins your social media, every new driver who signs up for a rideshare app, they aren't just adding value for themselves, they're making the entire service better for you and everyone else who's already there. Now, network effects really come in two main flavors. First, you've got the direct effect. That one's straightforward. More users means more people to connect with. A messaging app is a perfect example. Its whole value is in how many of your friends are on it. Then there's the indirect effect, which is a little more subtle. Think about your phone or a video game console. Its value isn't just in the device itself, right? It's in the thousands or even millions of apps and games made for it. More apps attract more users, and more users attract more developers to make apps. It's this incredible, powerful cycle. So, how does a network even get off the ground? It's that classic chicken and egg problem, isn't it? The beginning is always a slow, tough climb. But then, if it works, something almost magical happens. It hits a tipping point. This whole journey usually follows a pretty predictable path that we call the adoption curve. You know, it starts with a tiny group of innovators, the real pioneers who love trying new things. Then come the early adopters. If that group likes it, the network can suddenly catch fire with the early and late majority. That's when you see that explosive growth. And finally, even the most skeptical people, the laggards, eventually come on board. That moment, right when the growth curve shoots upwards, has a special name: critical mass. This is the absolute pivot point. It's where the network stops needing a constant push to grow and starts pulling people in all by itself. It becomes this self-sustaining engine of growth. And once a network hits that critical mass, oh man, something truly extraordinary happens. That growth engine doesn't just start, it ignites, and the network can feel like an absolutely unstoppable force. So let's break down the mechanics of how that explosion actually works. At the very core of this whole thing is something called a positive feedback loop. It's a beautifully simple cycle, really. A new user joins, which makes the network a little bit more valuable. That extra value then attracts another new user who adds a little bit more value, and on it goes. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, just getting bigger and faster on its own. Now, what fuels this feedback loop? It's actually a basic part of human psychology, the bandwagon effect. You know, it's the fear of missing out, but on a massive scale. People start joining not just because the service is useful, but because it feels like everyone else is doing it. Social proof takes over, and the momentum of the crowd becomes a power all its own. And what's wild is that we can actually describe this explosive growth with a simple formula. It comes from Metcalfe's law, which basically says a network's value grows with the square of its users. Think about it. If you have 2 users, you have 1 connection. But with 10 users, you have 45 possible connections. The value isn't just adding up, it's multiplying. It's growing exponentially. This chart really shows you the raw power of that exponential curve. A network with 10 users? Yeah, it has some value. But a network with 1,000 users isn't just 100 times more valuable. No way. Its potential value is thousands of times greater, all because of the sheer number of new connections that are now possible. The jump is just massive. Okay, so after this period of just insane growth, the network moves into its final phase. The focus changes. It's no longer just about expansion, it's about defense. It's time to build a fortress and protect the kingdom you've just built. So how do they build these fortresses? Well, the dominant network creates these massive barriers to entry for any competitor. I mean, just imagine trying to launch a new social network today. You'd have to convince millions of people to leave their friends, their photos, their entire digital lives behind. For most of us, the cost and the hassle of switching are just way too high.
And this is a concept called lock-in. It's this incredibly powerful force that keeps you tied to a service, maybe not because it's the absolute best, but because leaving is just too much of a pain. Think about it. Your professional life is all over LinkedIn. Your memories are on Instagram. Your work files are in Google Drive. To pull up all those digital roots would be a huge project, which effectively locks you right into that ecosystem. So when you combine that explosive, exponential growth with these powerful defensive fortresses and the high cost of leaving, well, the market tends to move in one very predictable and almost inevitable direction. And that direction is what's called a winner-take-all market. In industries where network effects are really strong, there's often no silver or bronze medal. There's just one player who achieves near total dominance.
You see, this is totally different from, say, the coffee shop market, where you can have dozens of great shops all succeeding in one city. In markets with strong network effects, everything tends to consolidate around one giant. We don't use 10 different search engines, do we? Or 5 different major social networks. We naturally gravitate to the one place where everybody else is, which just makes that winner even stronger.
So in the end, it all comes down to this one simple, powerful idea for our modern world. It's not about being the strongest or the fastest or even having the best tech in isolation. In the world of networks, survival, it belongs to the most interconnected.